New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time show here, giving you that Knicks talk just Nick of Time. It's time to talk about a bad loss to the Miami Heat. Knicks lose to the Heat 107-115. The Heat scored 20 points off of turnovers. They had 31 fast break points, and the bench that's been touted by the Knicks got outscored by the Heat bench 44-21. What makes matters worse, Tyler Hero wasn't playing, even though Deuce wasn't playing on our side. Still looks bad for our Knicks bench, and we're going to talk about it all. The bad, and the ugly. There was a little bit of good. We'll get to that as well, but still tough loss for this Knicks team. And we're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about some philosophy differences between maybe Knicks fans and maybe the Knicks, if there are any. And we're going to talk about the systems, and we're going to talk about the good and the bad players so far. All right. Before we do that, I'm going to introduce you to the Latin Assassin, ESPN contributor, Bleacher Report contributor, my man Lee Escobedo. What's good, Lee?
What's good, Jay? What's good, Ryan? Great to be here talking Knicks. Even after a loss, it's very therapeutic and a blessing to be able to come on this podcast and chop it up.
For sure. I'm here to have some therapy session with my guys, all right? And, of course, you already know it is my man with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G in the building. Bad loss, but it is what it is. You're going to always have one of these losses throughout the season, so.
Absolutely. And there was a lot to be pissed about today. For me, what really made me upset a little bit, well, not even a little bit, a lot. I was like, well, damn, after such a promising defensive start, I felt like our Knicks team let off the gas. First quarter transition, I even tweeted out, man, this is the best transition defense I've ever seen my Knicks team play. It's night and day since last year. We were locking people up. Like, you would have thought we had that whole team in jail, like there was Terry Rozier over there, the way we was locking people up. But then we let our foot off the gas. They really started to run, and it got 31 fast break points at the end of the day. Yeah, you caught that joke there. So. But it's like, well, damn, what happened to that fire that we had at the beginning of the game? It seems like, we just let our foot off the gas. I can excuse bad shot making. I can excuse missed open shots. I don't like taking the foot off the gas defensively, no matter what you're doing during the game, missing shots or making shots. I felt like we kind of gave up when it came to the other side of the ball. And that's what kind of pissed me off a little bit about watching this game. But I want to get your thoughts on this game, Lee, and let me know what you thought and what you saw.
Truth be told, I'm thankful for this loss because it showed that shit ain't sweet. You win 2 games, you can just as easily lose 2 games. I'm not upset about this loss at all because I don't walk into a season with the expectation we're going to win every game, even though I do jump out the window preseason with my predictions. But this is one that I thought was absolutely a game that we could lose. Whether Hero's out or Ware's out or Bam's out, it doesn't matter any one of those players. There are a team under Eric Spoelstra that played consistently hard and consistently the right way, and they're very fundamentally sound 1 through 12. And some nights Spoelstra will play 12. The night before, he played 15, 16 in a blowout. That's just how he is. He likes getting those guys reps, and he likes his guys getting rest. He plays an extended rotation, and he'll throw some weird-ass lineups out there, and Mike Brown definitely countered with some weird-ass lineups as well on his side. But I'm not terribly upset because I still feel like, even though we lost, the effort was really solid. And even defensively, there might have been breakdowns. There might have been bad rotations, which there were both, but I didn't feel like they ever stopped trying. The losses where you see a dejected appearance or a resisting physical kind of like slouch, those are the games I didn't really pick. Those are the teams I didn't really worried about because you can tell they don't stay together even during the hard times. This team gave me the appearance, but they still cared, and they won some very crucial battles. I wrote them down here. They still won the rebounding battle by 2 against maybe the best rebounding front court in the NBA. Kelly Ware, who's off to a tremendous start, and Bam Adebayo. We beat them 52-50. We still notched 23 assists. I remember being on this podcast multiple times in the Tibbs era. When we would lose a game like this, we would have 13, 14 assists, and we'd be like, this is absolutely unacceptable. The ball still moved. In this read and react system, plays don't break down, guys are going to be in the wrong spot, there's going to be miscommunication, or you play a great defense where the rotations are tight. It don't matter how good of a string you set, they're still fighting over it or getting under it, and you miss shots, you take bad shots. We only had 15 turnovers. This wasn't a game where everyone was a bonehead. You can tell guys don't really fit with one another. 15 turnovers is not anything to be proud of, but it's not in the 20 to 22 to 23 realm that we saw many losses last year with that Knicks team, where they would just get unbelievable, insurmountable turnovers. And we kind of looked like, does this team really mesh together? Should we have traded Julius Randle? Is Cat the right fit? I didn't sense that either of these three games. So I walked away saying, all right, their bench was really bad today. The Knicks bench, that is. Even the stats, are the counting stats and the raw numbers don't matter, because Jordan Clarkson was awful. Gerson Yabusele was awful. I thought this was a game that maybe we should have seen more Ariel Hotporty or Trey Jamison Jr. or Diawara instead of Josh Hart. But, I'm not the head coach, and I'm surely not going to criticize him this early in his tenure. But overall, I thought Deuce McBride was absolutely needed, because Norman Powell is on a 6'9" wing. He's only 6'4", and he actually plays a little smaller than that. So to me, if we had Deuce McBride, he would have been on him instead of the combination of Shamet and Bridges and Clarkson and Colwick, none of which did a good job containing him. And I think Deuce McBride would have at least kept him lower than 29 points and shooting just under 50% just over 50% from the field. So to me, the bench should have played better. They will. Deuce McBride should have been there. He will. So I'm not overly concerned with this, because as I said, in the end, we never gave up to try to win the game.
We did fight ourselves. We did fight our way back in the game. We were down 18, and we clawed our way in. I'm gonna get a little bit more specific too. For one, I'll say this: the starters, that first quarter, especially OG Anunoby, Mikal, Bridges, but OG Anunoby specifically, I felt like put on a masterclass on how you play defense. He stopped transition defense by himself by leaping in the air and catching a lob. He had multiple steals throughout the game. He was diving on the floor. I feel like OG was on another level defensively, although he did get a couple of silly fouls. To me, especially the first half in that first quarter, he had defensive player of the year type highlight reels in that first quarter to me. And then when the game continues and you start to get into you start to go to the bench, I felt like the bench didn't have the same intensity defensively in transition. I felt like they started getting lost in their matchups. Maybe that was Yabusele or something. Something was going on with the bench where I felt like defensively they let the foot off the gas. I definitely saw that comment, Glamour, and we're gonna talk about that later. Hold that comment. But get back to what I was saying. I feel like the bench, in particular defensively, was a little helter-skelter with his transition. And even though we did come back in the fourth quarter, I feel like I feel like they missed shots. I feel like the Heat missed shots in the fourth quarter. And they had a lot of wide open threes that they missed, and we were fortunate enough to get the rebound. I didn't feel, and we just started to hit shots when they started to miss it. Granted, we fought back, but I still feel like transition defensive wise, I feel like we weren't disciplined enough. Personally, that's just me. But the first quarter, like if we could replicate the type of effort we had in that first quarter defensively, I think for the other quarters, the game might be still in hand. We might be talking about a win. Personally, I think. But sometimes I feel like sometimes what was happening was we start to miss shots and we start to miss open shots, and because we were missing open shots, mentally, I felt like the effort started to wane on the other side of the ball a little bit. That's what I saw anyway. Yeah. But go ahead, Aaron.
No, you can go ahead and finish. My fault. I thought you were done. My fault.
No, I'm good. I was going to ask you what you want to say.
All right. Overall, I think it was a hard-fought game. Knicks hung in there within the first half. I think where the game really got out of hand was towards the end of the third quarter with the second unit. The second unit started to he started to slip away from the game, and he went on a little run before the end of the third quarter. And I definitely agree with Glamour Knicks that, because although I am a person that I believe that the bench should, if the bench is, you're supposed to play your bench guys. You're supposed to, rest your starters, play your bench guys, get them some runs so you can rest your starters. But I also am a believer in, if your bench guys are not playing up to par, you insert the starters back in immediately, especially when the game is slipping away. And I did think that towards the end of that third quarter when the Heat went on that run, and I think they increased the lead to 7, I believe, because I think it was 88-81 at the end of the third quarter. I do feel like Mike Brown should have been like, you know what? Let's get these bench guys on and get the starters back in and try to reel this game back in, which is what he did with Yabusele, because after he missed that layup at the end of the third quarter, in my head I was like, no, he has to go. Get him on the bench. And when the fourth quarter started, he put Cat right back into the game, and Yabusele was on the bench. So I thought he should have done the same and put Brunson back in the game in the 12th quarter, in the fourth quarter as well, to start the quarter, because the game is already slipping away. You can't let that game slip too far, because the Miami Heat team is a team that they play hard. They're gonna play hard on defense. So don't let that game slip away to where it got to an 18-point deficit and things of that nature. I do think I do think Mike Brown should have inserted his starters back immediately when that fourth quarter started. But overall, I'm not too upset. When the game got out of hand, Knicks continued to fight, got back into the game. Unfortunately, there were some foolish fouls towards the end of the fourth quarter. I think 2 offensive fouls. I think one was on Cat, another one on Josh Hart, which was, unfortunate. That pretty much stopped the Knicks' momentum. But overall, you're going to have games like this. The Knicks are not expected to win every game. You're going to lose some, and unfortunately, they lost.
Was to play the kids, play the bench moniker, being the sounding board for why we have a new coach here, right? Trusting the bench, that thought process of trusting the bench. Are we abandoning shit too fast by not trusting the bench when things are going awry? Are we abandoning what we thought last season because if Jalen Brunson does come in a little earlier when the game starts to slip away, Jalen Brunson will be having a 40-minute game today? Is that what Knicks Nation wants? Are we gonna be like, damn if you do, damn if you don't? We bring Jalen Brunson back in, and it's like, oh, here we go. We got another Tibbs in the game right now. Is that what we really want? Or is it like you keep the bench in, we have Kolick in here, we lose the game. It sucks we lost the game, but we have a bench who's been in the pressure situations that maybe they can call on that situation later on throughout the season where it pays off benefits. It's going to be a give and take right here. Like, I know some people are saying maybe we should have brought Brunson back in earlier, but this is what we wanted. This is what it wanted. And it's like, this is kind of what it looks like sometimes. When Jalen Brunson doesn't play 40 minutes or 42 minutes because the game's getting out of hand, this is what it looks like. It looks like having less talented players in the game in crucial situations, and we end up losing. And the record is not going to be 60 wins because we're playing the bench in these crucial situations. But what matters is the playoffs. That's what really matters. What matters is the playoffs. So it's like, we might see more of this because this is what we asked for. This is probably what Leon Rose asked for. This is what the world was talking about before last year. Tibbs plays the stars too much. Plays the stars too much. Brunson played 35 minutes a day. So it's like, we got to pick a side. This is what it looks like. We're not going to win 60 wins. We might not win as many games this year playing this way. We're not. But the playoffs, it might pay off during the playoffs.
Go ahead.
I think a bit differently because I believe in situational. I go by how the game is going. If the bench is in the game and they're holding the lead, like for example, the first 2 games, the bench was in the game, they were holding the lead. Then you let the bench rock for as long as they can before you insert the starters back into the game. But if you're a coach and you see that your bench is in the game and they're losing the lead and the game is slipping away, then that's when I believe, okay, you know what, the bench is not working. Let me insert the starters back into the game and see if they can get back into the game and try to, reel this game in. So although, yes, I do understand that you have to make some sacrifices and have the bench play through some stretches where, yeah, they might get beat up a bit before you put your starters back in. I'm also a proponent of you try to win as much games as you can. And if you see that something's not working, you change it. That's so while I do understand that point of view, I also believe that you have to go by the game situations and what the game presents at that moment, and then you make an adjustment based on the game.
I tend to agree more with Jay Ellis. Actually, I thought that was one of Jay's more fire takes, even in the last couple of months. I love that take. My only augmentation to it would be the lead guard cannot be Jordan Clarkson. I think we've learned that super quick. I think we all knew that, but the eye test has been confirmed that in order to have any 5-guy rotation on the court, Kolek or Jalen Brunson has to be the lead guard. And if they're not the lead guard, they're the second guard, then Deuce and Bride has to be sharing the floor with them. But a lineup with I don't care who the other four, take our 4 best players, OG, Bridges, Hart, Cat, offensively, and you have Jordan Clarkson, that lineup is going to be a net negative, in my opinion, because you don't have a true playmaker who knows how to get their other guys the ball when a defense like the Miami Heat, which will fluctuate between a man and a zone on the same possession, is all of a sudden cutting off your passing lanes and not giving you anything, blowing up lobs, blowing up spray out threes. You have to adjust that. You have to have a lead guard who can play make at that level, a high IQ level. And I'll give Kolek credit. I think that's his strength, is being able to break down defenses and find guys for easy opportunities. And Jalen Brunson obviously either can for others or himself. The lineup, to me, that one that failed in the fourth quarter when we made a push, is because Jordan Clarkson at that time was the lead guard. It's fine to have him and Brunson sharing a backcourt. I wouldn't do him and Kolek. I think we saw a little bit of that tonight. But Jordan Clarkson by himself as a lead guard, to me, is a recipe for disaster because it takes away the best part of his game.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. This is one of those games where the Jordan Clarkson Kolek combination didn't work in the third, and the coach looked like he was just searching. The coach looked like he was like, we need scoring. Yeah. So because we need scoring, and Kolek is more of a passer, and his shots aren't going, I'ma just try to hit the score button and see what happens. And I felt like Clarkson played that way in the fourth quarter. I feel like Clarkson played like coach wants me to score because we're having trouble scoring. And he was just putting up a bunch of shots that didn't look quite right. And he got a couple of them to go, but like it still looked helter-skelter. And it'll probably work for us a few times, but today it didn't work. And when it doesn't work, it looks really crazy. When it does work, he looked like a damn genius. Today, coach did not look like a genius. That is for sure. But go ahead, Lee. I see you want to say something.
Again, I agree with you again. I think Lee Bonner has a great point there. Jordan Clarkson must adapt. That, to me, that's the biggest thing holding him back, is that he plays only one way, and that way is shoot first, score first, look for his own shot first. And it doesn't disrupt the flow. It doesn't even create a flow. It negates any flow that you had, because a flow becomes Jordan Clarkson's one-on-one. Now, that can be okay in a pinch, or if a play that's broken up, the defense lots and he's set on an island by himself, he can get you a bucket off a dribble, first step, pull back, fade away. He has a whole bag, but you can't run your offense through him. And to me, he really needs to adapt in the same way that we saw Cameron Payne really adapt quickly under Tom Thibodeau's read and react system, where he kind of became a decent playmaker, especially in transition. Jordan Clarkson, I just got to see more awareness of where spatially the other guys are. I think that will come with some time, because he had so much continuity with that Utah team. He had like the same 4 or 5 guys that he played with for a really long time, and then the next wave of like 2 or 3 guys that he played with for a long time. So he's never played with any of his dudes before. So I understand that, the lack of chemistry, and he's playing with other guys who are brand new, either to higher usage minutes or of a team entirely, like Yabusele. So I get it, but it's a mentality thing. You can watch and tell he's not even thinking about passing the ball. He wants to go there and get it on his own. And he has a capability in micro doses to be as efficiently as Brunson, as good of a score as Brunson, but not for an entire quarter, not even for multiple possessions in succession. So you got to do the rock up.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
I'll say this. I do agree that Jordan Clarkson must adapt, but I do also feel like this is like the first game where he really reverted to old ways and was chucking up shots and things of that nature. I do feel like he's been trying to adapt so far. As I've seen him in the preseason try to become more of a playmaker for other people rather than always looking for a shot first. And I think at least in the first two games, especially the second game, when he did score, he scored within the flow of the offense. He didn't try to force anything or things of that nature. So I do feel like he is trying to adapt his game. I think this is the first game of the season where you can really look at Clarkson and be like, okay, he's trying to revert back to Utah Clarkson where he was looking for a shot first all the time and things of that nature. But I don't think he hasn't been out there not adapting, period. I do think he's been trying. This is like the first game where he actually reverted to old Clarkson and chucking up shots.
I agree, and that's because he was a lead guard. He wasn't sharing the backcourt with either Colwood, Deuce, or Brunson. He was out there by himself, and that's why that was what I'm arguing against, is that rotation that has him as the only true ball handler on the floor.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. Good points for both of you guys. He has been adapting, but him as a lead guard might not be the answer ultimately. But also, our three-point shooting in general just wasn't good.
Oof.
It just wasn't good. And here's the thing: we created a lot of open shots. Which brings me to my next question: the three-point attempts. The Boston Celtics last season took a lot of flack for the amount of three-pointers they took in certain losses. Now that the Knicks have changed their system, we are primed to be getting that same type of scrutiny with losses like this. Tonight, the Knicks shot 54 threes. This is the most threes we shot in franchise history. A lot of those threes were wide open. Wide open. I mean, wide open. There was a couple that wasn't, but there was a lot of wide open threes. So systematically, it seems like the system works. But when the threes aren't dropping, is it time to change the scheme a little bit?
Well, me personally, you already know where I'm gonna go with this because I talk about it a lot of times. Although the quality of threes the Knicks took were good quality threes, I'm not gonna act like Knicks were just taking a bunch of bad threes all game and things of that nature. They did take good threes for the majority of the game, but I am a person that believes that if you have a strategy and that strategy is not working, if you're taking a bunch of threes and you see nobody has it, I do think you need to switch it up a bit and be like, okay, let's try to get easy baskets in another way. Although it's tough because Miami does have a pretty big front line and things of that nature. So you can't just simply be like, yeah, let's drive to the basket and just attack the rim on every possession and things of that nature. So I do understand that aspect of it, but I do think that there's other parts of the game that you can implement to try to, to get guys easier shots or to get them going in other ways. Like you can run plays for players, and maybe take like a mid-range shot, get them open mid-range shot and things of that nature, like get them easier shots so they can get a rhythm at least and then see afterwards if the threes are going to fall afterwards. So although, yes, the Knicks took a lot of good threes, but I also believe that if the threes aren't falling, try to do other things to get baskets and see if you can get these guys into a rhythm so that when you kick the ball around for those open threes again, hopefully then it'll go in because you're doing other things to get guys going as opposed to just taking threes and just seeing them brick everything.
Man, that's a great question. I'm still thinking about it.
That's all right. I'll give my thoughts while you
Sure.
ponder that. I'm with you a little bit, Ryan G. Here's the thing, though. Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. The Heat, great coach team. We had a lot of open threes, but I feel like a lot of that was also by design because I don't know if you're watching the game, the paint was packed a lot. So, I know there's going to be a certain crowd that says, well, we should attack the paint more. There was a few times where Jordan Clarkson got into the teeth of the paint and had to revert to like a double clutch reverse because they collapsed on you. So, and then he scouted us. They got deep into the paint and they ran straight to the corners after a while to intercept those corner passes. So it's like, part of me is like, maybe it's us still learning the system. But I also agree with you, Ryan G. This is the mid-range shot, man. I think we still have a lot of great mid-range shooters here. When the paint is clogged like that and the threes aren't dropping, maybe we try to throw something up to the mid-range. Mikal Bridges in particular was really good in the mid-range today. He's just really all over the place, really. So maybe that's the answer. I don't fault. This is one of those offensive losses where I don't really fault the Knicks. I'll take it. I'll take the missed shots. We had great shots and a lot of great processes. The turnovers, though, from I think getting so deep in the paint and trying to kick it out hurt us bad. So maybe we have to improve our reads. But I agree with Ryan G a little bit that we should kind of alter or try to find a medium if the paint is clogged the way it was today and the three-point shot isn't hitting.
I've thought about it. First of all, great question. And hearing both of your points of view, I think I might take the opposite. I would keep on shooting threes, but I would change the methodology in which I'm generating those threes. I would use Brunson and Bridges as a screener. So they set the screen for an OG Anunoby, a Landry Shamet, even a Karl-Anthony Towns. That'd be difficult with Brunson, but you do your best. And then you have that screener, Brunson or Bridges, flash to the mid-range and then try to create there, because our guys, from what I've seen, Hart, OG, Cat, they're all good at that quick entry pass to the mid-range when the three's not there, right? They're blitzed or whatever happens, or the screen wasn't well set. They're good at lobbing that into the mid-range. Then Brunson and Bridges made a choice either put the ball on the floor or pull up. That, I think, is like, who do you use as a screener and who are you using as a roller and who's that secondary hub on the elbow? Changing that up to where the person catching has ball handling ability and on the floor ability is different than if Shamet is catching that shot, or a Diawara, or I don't even know, someone else. Clarkson's pretty good. Yabusele. If those guys are catching the ball, yeah, you have very limited opportunities. Or even Towns catches it, he's going to run the traffic and probably get an offensive foul called on him because there's just too much body running in the paint and not enough control. But if you have the Brunson, Bridges being used as a screener and then on the catch off of the screen after the flash, that could generate action that makes the defense adjust. And then as they start adjusting, you start finding the holes in that defense in further possessions. You say, okay, we got that corner, left corner is open from here now because Brunson hit 2 mid-range shots. Let's keep running that play and see what happens. I think there's minor tweaks, but I would not stop shooting threes against the Heat specifically, because you're right, when they collapse from Jaquez to Wiggins, they're all really good at putting separation between the player and the rim. Especially Jaquez and Wiggins really impressed me with their defense tonight.
Yeah, they did. They killed us. Interesting point. So you're saying when those screens are happening, you're saying that's like, I know you're getting super technical now, guys. Are you talking about like top of the key screens or like?
Yes. Yeah, because I mean they're doing that. Everyone, I've seen just about everyone set a screen so far through 3 games, from Brunson to Hot Porty. But I think using the guard, the guy who has the on the ball ability or the dribble ability upon the catch, using them as a screener, so that if the guy fights through and he's still on the 3-point shooter, he's able to pass that shot to the mid-range. And then within the mid-range, that's where you can operate that second action, whether it's a drive or a dribble penetration, or you pull up in the mid-range. That forces the defense to adjust. Oh, now we have to watch out for the secondary action where the pass is in the mid-range, and we have to shift, whether that is a zone or the man-on-man, to accommodate for that. That's going to open up someone in the corner on the left or on the right, or in between above the break in the corner. It's going to make the defense have to adjust. That presents a different look opposed to the same ball rotation. And the way you're starting to be, let's crash the corners and intercept those passes, it makes it more difficult for the defense.
Okay. I guess it depends on who's in too. It depends on who's in, because when Josh Hart's in, that doesn't quite work as well.
Or Yabusele. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
again,
which is kind of was the case today, which might explain why maybe he didn't do it.
And we're missing Deuce, and we're missing Mitchell Robinson. We have an injured Josh Hart. There's a lot of variables that are going to make that difficult. But I'm thinking in big picture, everyone's healthy. Perfect scenario. I think that's very plausible because we have more ball handlers than we ever have right now. But Deuce is just really key. Deuce is key to all of these things.
Agreed. Okay, I just want to have this conversation. I want to get to some of the good, and I'm gonna get back to the a little bad too as well. But I'm gonna just break this up by talking about how great our damn captain is, because he seemed like he was working his way into rhythm in preseason, and he's absolutely found it. I hate we lost this game with him being on a heater because I just feel like this is one of those games like, damn, this would have been nice. Jalen Brunson, 37 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, 53% from the field, 45% from 3. Damn near unstoppable. Damn near perfect game. Inside game, outside game. He was scoring on length of the Wiggins. And when we were down 18 points, he comes in with 10 minutes ago. We damn near come back in the game just because Brunson is in the game. Mm-hmm. So he's just one of those guys. He's just one of those guys. Like, if he's in the game, even when it's dire, you have a chance. You just do. And we just needed other guys to step up in that moment. And unfortunately, it didn't really happen. We missed some big shots. But great game for Jalen Brunson, who started off on the smoker, had one of the top defensive players in the league guarding him, and Mitchell. Didn't really matter.
That's a great point.
Didn't really matter. And that's the thing about Brunson is, like, routinely he'll have top defensive players on him, and it's like, oh, he can slow him down because he can play great defense. No, still doesn't matter. Oh, look, Wiggins, he has the length to slow him down too. Nope, still doesn't matter. Like, when he's hot, it just is what it is. Also, another great game by this man right here, Mikal Bridges. Some would say he might have needed the ball more. 20 points, 7 of 11. He only took 11 shots. He had 11 shots and had 20 points. 63% from the field, 60% from 3. Mid-range assassin, 4 steals. Him and OG Anunoby defensively, especially in that first quarter, it was a nightmare. Like, the reason why we got those two defensively is because what we started to see in that first quarter. Mikal Bridges is having a good season. He definitely looks legit comfortable. Yeah. Legit comfortable. And I think this is going to continue as the season goes on. Maybe he needs to be a little bit more aggressive, but I really like what I'm seeing from Mikal Bridges so far this season. And he had a great game, 20 points. All right. Let's talk about this man, though. Karl-Anthony Towns. Best shooting big man in the game. 15 points, 2 of 8 from 3. 18 rebounds. And the rebounding has continued to pay off dividends for this Knicks. And we actually eked out the rebounding advantage because of Karl-Anthony Towns. 2 blocks and 2 assists. It's funny because when you talk about good shot, bad shot, throughout his career, the shots that you see Karl-Anthony Towns take from 3, you don't consider them bad shots because he hits them in his sleep. So it's like the first quarter comes, he's taking these 3-point shots from halfway down behind the 3-point line, and I don't even bat an eye if he misses them. And then he takes 2 or 3 in a row, and I really still don't bat an eye because I know at any point it can start to go in and it's an avalanche. But it seemed like the start of the Knicks falling behind had a lot to do with Karl-Anthony Towns shooting. And then as the game progressed, he didn't have any fouls in that first quarter.
Right.
But what really changed the game for us is when he got a foul that was wrongly called on him in the second quarter. I believe it was. And then right after that, I think he fouled Bam Adebayo, maybe out of frustration. And that took him out the game. I feel like that took him out the rhythm of the game defensively. And it seemed like he was in defensive foul. He was in foul trouble from then on. And then what you have happening is Jalen Brunson is playing all these minutes. Karl-Anthony Towns typically plays with that second unit sometimes to give him an official offensive option. And he could not play with the second unit in big stretches because he was in foul trouble. Which is why we saw a lot of what we saw today with the second unit being unable to score because they didn't really have a serious offensive hub. Yes, we had Jordan Clarkson, but Karl-Anthony Towns is a serious offensive hub. And because he got a little bit emotional and he got taken out of his game, it kind of took us out of our game a little bit. And as soon as he, as fast as he can shoot us out of a game, he can shoot us back into his game. Mm-hmm. That fourth quarter, he hit a few threes in a row, and all of a sudden we have life. I started to think, oh man, is this gonna be a Karl-Anthony Towns Detroit Pistons type series moment where he just started hitting ridiculous shots and we come back to win the game? I thought that for a second, the way he started to go, but the Knicks just didn't have him to finish the game. Struggle game for Karl-Anthony Towns with some good defensive moments and bad defensive moments, really up and down, but ultimately not the best Karl-Anthony Towns game.
Ooh, man. The bad defensive moments to me happen in fast action when the game he's trying to catch up to the game as it's happening within a play. But when he was on an island against Bam Adebayo, I thought he did a very good job.
Right.
Forcing him into really, really difficult shots. It kind of reminded me of those playoff series 2 years ago against Phoenix and then against Denver when he was on an island a lot against KD and then the following series against Joker. He has the ability. I think he's a tape grinder. He has the ability to really know people's instincts and what they like to do in certain areas of floor, especially when he has them over there on the right side of a court. And that's where Bam likes to operate. I thought he did a great job fronting, forcing him, using his hands to try to knock the ball out before Bam got into the gather and pull up. Again, really smart in that first half. The second half, the fouls to me didn't come just with the Bam Adebayo calls. It was more in the traffic, guarding the rim or on a switch. All of a sudden, he gets overly aggressive or pissed off that he hasn't been getting calls, so his defense becomes more lazy and more erratic. That to me is like, you got to keep your head in the game. I think that's why Mike Brown had that really long extended chat with him when he went back to the bench. He's probably giving him some hard life instruction moving forward on the defensive end. But it's funny because he wasn't all the way bad. And I think it was you who tweeted earlier, like, is it just me or Karl-Anthony Towns' defense been pretty good to start the season? Yeah. I agree. So has Jalen Brunson has also been playing very good defense to start the season. And I was impressed that Cat, who Bam Adebayo is a player that we've never been able to figure out, especially when it was Julius Randle and Obi Toppin. Cat, I thought, played him better than anyone ever played him since he's this new Knicks era. And I was proud of him for that first half defense.
In general, like I remember last season saying I want Cat to switch more. And that was one of the things I was getting on tips about. I was like, why aren't we switching more? I feel like I started seeing Cat switch more this season. And like you said, him being on an island, he's been good one-on-one defensively. That the avalanche of fouls happened when he got emotional. He needs somebody on the floor to like smack him as it's happening.
It's gotta be JB. It has to be.
Yeah, and I think that's the only flaw I really see with Karl-Anthony Towns' game. Like the major one is the fouls, because he is so crucial to the Knicks on the offensive side of the ball and his rebounding. He's a key piece, but he keeps on, getting these fouls, and it has you looking at the TV screen like, come like, really, Cat? Like that's the kind of foul you're gonna commit? So if he could just clean that part of his game up, he would be, he would be able to be on the court, for longer stretches of time. But sometimes he just gets caught up to where he's just making stupid fouls, and then the coach has to take him out of the game and things of that nature. But overall, when Cat is on his game, he's on his game. He just needs to stop with the dumb fouls. And I think another thing we tend to forget as well is that he's playing hurt. You know, he hasn't gotten that time to really, you know, recover from his injury and things of that nature. So he's out there playing hurt and playing like this, you know. So, but yeah, he just needs to clean up the files, and think once he cleans up the files, he'd be good to go.
All good points. All good points. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, overall, we just needed more. We just needed more defense consistently. We needed more defense. We needed more discipline when it came to transition defense. We needed more from our bench. Yabusele once again is struggling in 15 minutes. -15, worst plus minus on the team. He's only hit 1 3 this season so far. He's been brought in to be a stretch 4. Looked a little bit slow at times. Missed a couple of layups. Obviously, he's having a rough outing. Have not quit on him yet. But I am a little bit concerned, not because he's missing shots. It's not this. That's not the concern. The concern is the hesitancy, the timidness. Like I don't like to see a little bit of fear on the court when I'm watching certain players, like Jordan Clarkson. Like Jordan Clarkson has no conscience. He misses, he's still confident. I don't know if I really see that from Yabusele.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I mean, Yabusele's career would defy that. I mean, he's playing the biggest stage possible in the world, in the Olympics and FIBA Cup. He has absolute balls of steel. That I agree with you that he has been timid. I think it's more about not knowing what the role is yet. And Mike Brown's spoken to that he's the one having the most trouble adapting him and Karl-Anthony Towns on both sides of the floor, because where they're positioned, they're kind of playing 3 roles at once. And Yabusele's been moved around a lot. He's played a little bit of a 3. He's played a lot of the 4 and a lot of the 5 too. And some of those 5 lineups, he starts out and trying to dig himself out because he's trying to be the rim protector, surrounded by a bunch of guards. There are a lot of those rotations that Mike Brown is putting him in. You know, it's not his fault that he's struggling in those, but he is fat and he is out of shape, which is why I said that. And I think it was preseason the first time I said it. He doesn't look good. He looks slow. So if you're processing the play slow and your body is even farther behind that, you're going to get cooked a lot on defense and you're going to miss a lot of bunnies on offense. So to me, he just needs to get in game shape, watch more film, you know, be more of a focal point on the offensive end. If you have the shot, take it. The flow of it will eventually find him, and he'll find the flow, vice versa. But one thing he's not a stair player. He hasn't played staired in any way in his entire career. So I think that part will get better. Just need him to get in better game shape.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just gonna add this right quick. We brought in Yabusele to be a stretch 4, but only thing stretch right now is his stomach. So hopefully, hopefully, he'll get back in shape and be quicker with his lateral movements. But I'm not worried about Yabusele. I already know he's trying to learn the system, so he's gonna look off these first few games. Now, when 20, 30 games passes and he's still playing like this, then I'll be really concerned and be like, okay, like we got to do something here. But as of right now, I'm giving Yabusele a chance. Get into game shape. Let me see how you look 30 games from now.
Yeah.
Listen, I have not given up on Yabusele. I just raised my eyebrow a little bit, like,
Very fair.
The eyebrow raised a little bit. Have I given up? No. My eyebrows raised a little bit.
I would like to see what he looks like with Mitch. We haven't seen that combination yet. You know, he's out there with Cat, who has his deficiencies, especially in transition or guarding really rapid ball movement. That puts him at a deficit. He's been at the 5 a lot with OG at the 4, Bridges at the 4 in some rotations, which are awful. Let's let Mike Brown get that out of his system so we don't see that in the middle of March. But he hasn't really played with Mitch yet, and he hasn't played a whole lot with Hot Porty or Trey Jamison yet either. So I think once those rotations become a little bit more sound and more frequent, and he knows what other 4 players are going to be out there majority of the time, I think he'll augment and adjust his game to be more efficient on both ends.
Speaking of Mitch, man, I know we had a talk about Mitch, and I know we talked about, we want him to be here for the end of the season, and we need to rest him, and la. It is annoying me that the Knicks are labeling this load management. It's pissing me off, man. I feel like my intelligence is being insulted or something, man. I feel like I'm being bamboozled, led astray, and all that stuff. Like You don't load manage for this long. It's an injury. Why are they not just saying what it is? It's an injury. It's either an injury or you playing some 3-level chess thing where you trying to like plummet his value by not having played a certain amount of games so you don't have to pay him in the offseason or something like that. Because but y'all be calling this load management 3 games into the regular season with no injury or anything whatsoever, and specifically on his ankle, it just sounds weird to me. It just sounds off. It sounds misleading. Something is up, damn it.
God, I hope not. I mean, you make a strong argument, and we know this Leon Rose era has been very tight-lipped, and I would say there's a kind of like purposeful line that goes about with hiding injuries and hiding like trade rumors and stuff like that. But if it isn't an injury, maybe it's good to keep him out of these 3 games. These are 3 teams we could see in the playoffs. Miami as a play-in team that gets the 8th or 7th seed, or Boston who gets to play in, gets the 7th, 8th seed. Cleveland Cavaliers, these conference finals. Maybe they're like these 3 games against possible potential playoff teams. Let's hold them out for those 3, and then we play that first Western Conference foe or a bottom of the barrel, booty feeder. We let him play that way. The tape is out and it doesn't matter at that point because he's playing against a team that we have no chance of facing when it matters most.
So it's just, I don't know. It just don't make sense.
Better,
I'm having flashbacks when they lied about Julius Randle and they said, yeah, his shoulder's not that bad. Yeah, he'll be back. Season-ending surgery. Man. I'm having flashbacks to OG Anunoby. He's supposed to come back for mad months. That kept getting pushed back, and all of a sudden he got all sorts of wraps and stuff on his elbow and finger that you never even see before. I'm like, man, stop. Tell me the truth, damn it. I'm tired of this BS. Tell me the damn truth.
Let me ask you this, Jay. If he was injured, and it did require surgery, and let's say I'm speaking of worst case scenario, right? I mean, knock on wood. And let's say he's out for 4 months. Does that change your opinion on whether we should move him or not?
If he's out for 4 months?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
I'm going worst case scenario just to see if it changes your perspective on should we keep him and save him for playoffs, or should we move off and get a Walker Kessler or whoever?
I would definitely think about it harder if he was out for another 4 months.
Okay.
I definitely think about it harder. But it's like it's a few things that has to happen for me. It's like, okay, you're out for 4 months, cool. Your contract has to reflect the amount of games you're paying against for the year. If you're not for another 4 months,
great take.
Like you playing 30 games a year. I gotta pay you like you're playing 30 games a year.
Great take. Agreed, 100%. How about you, Ryan?
Here's the thing, because us fans can be so fickle. Say that is the case. Say that it's an injury and he's out for 4 months, comes back healthy. Okay, initially, us as fans, maybe we'll think that, you know what, Mitch can't stay healthy. We have to trade him. We have to move him. We have to see what we can get for him in the market. But say, for example, he comes back, and all of a sudden, for that time period, he's back including the playoffs, he balls out. Now, all of a sudden, the mind shifts again, because it's like, okay, at first, he's injury prone. We think that, okay, he can't stay healthy a full season. Let's try to get value for him. But then whenever he does play, we see the impact and we see the kind of player he is and how he helps the team get to that next level defensively or whatever the case may be. So now, with it being a contract year, I think you're going to have a situation where it's like you negotiate with Mitch, see what his camp wants. If his camp is asking for a boatload of money that you think that he's not worth due to his injury history, then yeah, you have to consider moving him. But if you're able to come to an agreement where it's like, okay, let's do it on, because I think in the NBA, I think you can't do a contract where you get incentives if you play a certain amount of games. I believe in NBA contracts, some players have that kind of contract. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are absolutely right. There is somebody in the New Orleans Pelicans who has a weight clause right now.
Exactly.
So you can have whatever type of clause you want.
Didn't OG have something in his contract like that? Games played for bonuses?
Possibly.
I think OG's extension has that. I thought it did. Sorry to interrupt you, Ryan. Apologies.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So if you're able to agree to that kind of contract where it's like, okay, if you play a certain amount of games, you get incentives and get a lesser contract as a result, you keep them. So I think it's one of those things where it's like you just have to make it play out. If he's hurt out for a certain amount of time, you're not going to be able to move him anyway because he's hurt. So teams might be hesitant to even try to move for him at the trade deadline anyway, because they're going to be like, well, he was out for a long period of time again. I'm not going to really give up any assets for a player that's going to be hurt. So I think it's a situation where it's going to be end of the season anyway. You're going to just evaluate it and go based off of that. So it's to me, it's you let it play out. In the end of the season, you determine what you're going to do with Mitch based on negotiations and things of that nature.
Agree 100%. It wouldn't change my stance on never trade Mitch whatsoever. And the reason specifically is because of the hot party and Trey Jamieson in the third. If it was just Sims or prior to that, Nerlens Noel, God forbid, you would have to move him. Even if it's for a downgrade, you would have to move him because there's no present and there's no future. Right now, there's both. There's present and hot party and Trey Jamieson, and they're also future pieces as well. So I would keep him, put him on ice, whatever it takes. And we also, if we had the ass crack health department that we had, medical staff during the Phil Jackson era, I might also stress, well, we might need to move him because I would have no faith internally in our team to keep him on ice and be healthy and also in game shape when he returns. But with Casey Smith and his staff, I trust him. Doesn't mean it's not madness. Mitch Madness is diabolical. Lee Bonner, appreciate the 199 super chat. Agree 100%. Absolutely. It's annoying. It's stressful. It's infuriating. It's frustrating. And also agreed. Great take, Jay. His next contract, no matter what, it has to account for this.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. Oh man, I got nothing else to say. I'm cool on the rest of the rest of the players. Shamit, he missed all his threes. He's brought him to be a 3-point shooter. He missed a bunch of threes. It happens.
Good defense.
Good defense. Good defense. It happens. It happens. Clarkson, you already saw what happened. Really, we just missed threes, damn it. A lot of it was the defense was bad. The defense was definitely bad in transition, but we missed threes. We need to be better when it comes to that.
I like Kolic's game. I thought Kolic should have played more than 10 minutes. I thought this was a night to where the minutes of Clarkson was out there in the fourth. I wish very much so. I can't believe I'm saying this. I wish that was Howard Kolic out there. I think we would actually might have won the game.
It's funny. I still feel like if he hit his shots, he'd still be in the game. I think that's what it was. I feel like if he hit his shots, he would still be in the game. I think Clarkson was in the game off of his reputation. Because when Jordan Clarkson because there was a time when Cole was in the game first before Clarkson, and I was looking at that in my brain. I was like, Cole's in the game, Clarkson's on the bench. What's happening right now? And then they kind of switched. But I think if that Kolic minutes paid off dividends, where it was like, even though I don't want to say we lost the game because of Kolic, but if like we started to chip into the lead when Kolic was in the game, I think he might have stayed out there longer instead of going Clarkson.
Yeah, unfortunately, Clarkson wasn't hitting shots either in the fourth quarter, and there were some misreads that he had too that I feel like Kolic would have hit. We had no continuity in the fourth. It was either all iso ball or one man driving to the hoop and getting absolutely demolished, where he had used to the double clutch.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, listen, this read and react ain't working with Jordan Clarkson as lead guard, man. Let's switch this shit up. But,
I gotta learn to read first. Okay.
It happens.
Man, salute to the chat though. Salute to the chat. There's a lot of y'all in chat. At one time we was at 50, we had 41 in chat. We got a lot of people in Twitter land too. If you like the show, hit that like and subscribe, man. We here after every game talking Knicks basketball, the X's and O's, the ins and the outs, and a couple of jokes on the side. If you're on Twitter and you're like, man, we really love you, we really love watching this on Twitter. I want to support these guys because they have great conversations and great commentary. Join us on YouTube, man. YouTube.com/The Nick of Time Show. I will put the YouTube link right under the Nick of Time Twitter stream. So stay tuned for that. For those who are on YouTube, shout out to Gamer Channel, Nick Yak, Marvin Smith. Shout out Marvin. I haven't seen him in a minute. Marvin. Shout out to Felicia Lee. Always rocking with us. Shout out to Brehim. 40x Scope. Lee Bonner gave us a super chat. Knicks Nation. Yuri Ark, shout out to you. Gemo30. Fritz Alessandor, best mod in the game. Shout out to Glamour and Knicks, always holding us down. Who else? Everybody else is rock with the show, man. DKEJ21. Appreciate all you guys' support, man. Also appreciate the super chats because super chats help keep the lights on, man. Helps keep the lights on, help us get some new equipment. It helps a lot. It helps a lot, trust me. So super chats are definitely welcome. It helps keep this show going. All right. Do you guys have anything else? Do you guys have anything else you want to add before we go to
one thing, because I just looked up this information right quick. So yes, there is a player does have a games played clause in their contract, and it's Zion Williamson. And I think if Mitch shows that he cannot stay healthy, I do think this is the kind of contract that the Knicks do need to sign him to if he does plan to stay with the team for the long term. So this is Zion's contract right quick. So basically, in all the years of his contract, his first year was 50% guaranteed and it becomes fully guaranteed January 7th of 25. Then the other 4 years is non-guaranteed and it's only going to become fully guaranteed at the end of the season if certain criteria have been met. So the criteria that has been met, one of them is a weight clause, which we already knew with Zion Williamson, but there's also a games played clause as well, where it says 40% of his 2025-26 salary becomes guaranteed if he plays 41 or more games, or 41 games or more during the 24-25 season. So this is according to last season. Additional 20% if he plays 51 or more games. The remaining 20% if he plays 61 or more games. So I would think that if Mitch shows that he cannot stay healthy and say he's out for another long period of time, then that would be the kind of contract that Knicks would have to sign him to if they plan to keep Mitch on the squad.
I don't think I would do like a games played clause. I would just keep him like at the rate he is, because I feel like why Zion needed that in particular is because he misses game because of his own demise. It's like he has a bad diet. He be drinking sodas. He be doing all this craziness. So I feel like with him, he's contributing to his own demise when it comes to his weight, and it's affecting how available he is in this game. Mitch is in great shape. He freaking started a farm and started eating his own food from his own farm. I don't think it's a lack of knowledge, a lack of trying, a lack of bad habits for Mitch. I think it's just he's 7 freaking feet. And that's what happens with 7 feet. So I feel like I wouldn't do the game played clause, but I wouldn't give him, I would just keep him at around the same rate, because it's like, bro, like that's how I look at it.
I think
and also just to add context to Zion's contract as well. So basically they're saying that he has to be under 295 pounds. So I'm like, yo, if he can't stay under 295 pounds, I'm like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, they made that so easy for you. Like, all you have to do is be under 295 pounds.
Those chips is chipping, man. He can't always do it, man. He lives in New Orleans, man. They make food over there, like a lot of it.
Bourbon
good ones, good food. It is different. Like, can you imagine Zion in New York? I know people wanted Zion in New York, but it'll be the same struggle here. All right,
true that.
I don't know.
I've spent time on Bourbon Street. I've committed those sins. I know what it's like. It does a number on your body. I feel for Zion there.
Yeah,
he's got to have better self-control than me. I'm just a writer. He's a basketball player. Can't be that diabolical. Come on, man.
I'm just saying. All right, but that's all I got to say. Anything else you want to add, Lee?
No, this is a great conversation. I think level-head analysis. This is why the TOT show is so important, I think, to an its community, man. No one over here is overreacting. No one's calling for Clarkson to be traded or Yabusele to be waived or Mike Brown is tibbing. Like, it's a loss. I don't expect to win every single game. And if you are going to lose, don't be like the Mavs and lose by 10 to the Wizards to be 0-2. Lose to the Miami Heat, who play hard no matter who is suited up and who isn't. He's a suppose number 2, number 3 best coach in NBA. Let's keep it a buck. Bam Adebayo and Ware, solid front court. And I thought that's where we beat them, was at their best advantage. And to me, that's impressive.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Let's get to it, man. It's time for the other part of the show. It's the bruh picks. Bruh picks are usually something stupid, dumb, idiotic that you want to point out and say this is stupid, dumb, and idiotic. And when that happens, guess what?
Bruh.
We give it a bruh. All right. So I know Ryan G got something lined up for you. So take it away, Ryan G.
Yeah, my bro pick. My only regret about this bro pick that I didn't see it Friday night when it happened during the Knicks and Celtics game. So most of y'all probably saw the video already, but there was a play where OG was guarding Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown drove to the basket. OG stayed in front of him. OG had his hands up, playing good, solid defense. And then all of a sudden, Jalen Brown was doing some head movements, trying to fake OG out. And then all of a sudden, a black stain appeared on OG's jersey. So now we're here watching the tape. We're like, hold up. Is Jalen Brown getting the sauce added to his head after he got a fresh cut? Like, what's going on? Jalen Brown, you young, my guy. You still in your 20s. You telling me that you're ready to go to Turkey for a hair transplant? Your mommy's had that much sauce in your head to make your hair like that short, my guy? God damn.
Yeah. That was nuts. And the thing is, too, I couldn't believe what happened. You saw the Knicks had on white jerseys. OG is guarding Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown tried to head fake him on his jersey. All of a sudden, all the black came off his head is now on OG Anunoby's jersey. And listen, fellas, for those who go to the barbershop, because I don't get a haircut, but I get lined up. You gotta be stern in your no. You gotta be stern in your, because these barbers are out of hand. I don't know if you guys be in Brooklyn, but they don't even ask anymore. Oh, do you want the Beijing? They don't even ask anymore. They just spray it right on you. You gotta be firm. Look them in the eyes and say, "Don't put that boot on me, man."
Facts.
So I tell them right before I even go in the chair, I be like, "Don't be spraying nothing on me. Don't put no paint on me. Don't put no Beijing on me. I'm all natural, all right? I'm not a chick, all right? The chicks be filling in their eyebrows with the fake eyebrows to make it look I don't need that. I'm a dude, all right? I'm sick to do things. So Jalen Brown, 20, I don't understand why you're doing that, but just say no.
Facts. Now, don't get me wrong. When some people go to the barbershop, they need it. They desperately need it with their hairline. and like you said, if that's the case, then they just need to go bald. But in this case, I don't think Jalen Brown's hairline is that bad to the point where it's like he needs the sauce. I do think my guy still has his hairline intact, so I don't get it. Like, why are you getting the sauce when you don't really need it? All of a sudden, and now the game plays and you have your sauce on OG's jersey. Like, come on now, man.
I need to show this. If people didn't see, I gotta show them. I gotta show them, yo. So, because some people might not know what I'm talking about, and hopefully, nothing happens to them. I gotta show them, yo. I gotta show y'all because this is cool. All right, give me a second, guys, before we leave. Before we leave, give me 1 second. Action. Share screen. There we go. Can y'all see?
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah. Like, come on. Get that shoe polish off your head, bro.
On his birthday? Oh, man.
On his birthday. Oh, my God. And he got hair. I don't get it. I don't get why you do that when you have hair.
It's like my guy's not even like struggling with his hairline right now and still decide to get the sauce.
You gotta tell the barbers no, bro. You gotta tell these barbers no. You just do. All right, yo, that's it. I'm good. I got nothing else to say. We talking about Jalen Brown's hairline. I'm good. All right, yo, that's the show, man. Thank you guys for watching. Lee, let them know they can find you, Lee.
On Twitter @_Lee Escobedo, LEEESCOBEDO, and shout out my main man Fritz Alcindor, the mod god, the fifth Beatle, and the host of the NBA Economy Show for having me on Pregame. I talked about my essay for the Guardian on the gambling scandal and Chauncey Billups and FanDuel and all the other betting shows, and also being able to have a great conversation on life as well. So some of our upbringing and our thoughts on the Knicks this season. Fritz is a great guy. Crucial part to the KOT team. And it was an honor to be on your show, brother. Appreciate you.
Shout out to our guy, Fritz Alcindor. All right. Ryan G, let them know they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT. You can also find me on Instagram at Sir G is chilling.
Sir G is chilling.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN.
All right. You can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Nick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Nick of Time Show on Facebook as well. We're also on TikTok, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and all that noise. All right. That is the show. Thank you guys for watching. And as always,
shout out the World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out of here.
Peace.
New York, big city of dreams.